And welcome to this episode of the Selling Through Partnering Skills podcast, where I am joined by Chris van Praag. Now, Chris, according to his LinkedIn profile, is a video enthusiast and a content creator. And that's just not according to what he says. When you look at what he does, he certainly is. That's why I wanted to talk to him. So, Chris, first and foremost, welcome.
Thanks so much. And
secondly, talk us through what being a video enthusiast is and this content creation.
Yeah. So video has always been a huge part of my life. I put video enthusiast on my profile because I quite organically found myself talking a lot about video. I started a job right at the beginning of lockdown, and I was given access to a Vidyard, which is a tool that I know plenty of people have heard of. And if you haven't, go check it out. And it was a tool that allowed me to be able to create prospecting videos. And I loved it. I just thought it was great. And I appreciate it's not, people don't get on it maybe as quickly as I did. But I loved it. And I found myself enjoying it. And I found it was this kind of outlet for me, especially when we weren't going to events and we weren't meeting people. We weren't, meeting people face to face anymore. And it was just this great outlet. And so I just started sharing a lot of videos about me and why I enjoyed it and why I thought it was useful and why everyone should be using it, and making more and more content. And the content got a bit weird and wacky, and it opened up conversations. And I think so. I've always just been a huge enthusiast. So kind of share what you love on LinkedIn, and they always say your profile should match why people should connect with you. And that does kind of sum me up. And I started creating content off the back of that. And the last 18 months, I've been doing lots of that. I use video in my role. I work in sales, so I use video heavily throughout the sales process. I use it for lead generation. I use it for helping to close deals. I use it for building personal brands. So I just use it for everything. I just, in this remote, way of working, it's been the best way for me to be able to put my personality out there, I guess.
All right. So there's loads of stuff I want to follow up on this. Thank you for teeing me up on it. So first bit, nice and easy one. Why do you enjoy it?
I've always been quite creative. I fell into sales, as a lot of people do. I like meeting people. I like helping people. I never considered myself a money-driven, heavy, kind of sort of salesperson selling ice to Eskimos, that kind of thing. I've always just liked solving problems. And I've done all kinds of worked in sales. I used to work in retail for many years, helping customers. I moved into B2B. I've sold SaaS, I've sold hardware, I've sold kind of everything. And it all boils down to just helping people, solving problems, helping businesses to overcome challenges, all that kind of stuff. But I've always been quite a creative soul. I've always liked, I've liked movies, and I just enjoy kind of absorbing social media and content and stuff. And so, I think it just kind of stemmed from that, really, that kind of creativity and that kind of want for a bit of an outlet. You don't really get much of an opportunity in sales to kind of, it's not a natural connection, which I guess is why we're having this conversation. And I was like, well, it doesn't matter if it's not a natural connection. I'll find a way. And so I did. And so I just started, making content. In fact, I got my job at Babel Quest by sending my boss a video. I just couldn't get through. And so I just was like, right, well, I'm just going to video. Somebody at the office actually suggested, like, why don't you send him a video? And I was like, okay. And I did. And he messaged me straight back. And I was like, oh, this works. And so that kind of sort of started it, really.
Yeah. You say it's not natural, or it's maybe, I don't know if it's not natural, it's just not done. And the other thing you said, why you enjoyed it, but why you should use it. And again, in a nutshell, if you can give us a real brief summary, why should salespeople use it? I think you've just said actually, but let's just underline it.
Yeah. So for me, it's all about your personality. The classic line of like, salespeople buy from people. I think you can have the best product in the world, and that might be fine. I think we're in a world now where we're trying to create conversation, open up conversations. People's inboxes are full. How is it that you're going to differentiate yourself? You can send out thousands of, sort of very cold, plain, templated emails, text-based stuff. Most of them are going to get ignored. But if you can brighten someone's day, open up a conversation, put something in their inbox, you've got a really good reason to speak to them. I think, you on video explaining that in a really short, succinct way, it's proven to be, there's the stats out there, you're 5 times more likely to have your email opened if the title contains video in it, We just naturally are curious. There's some really, really great insights around it, and we just enjoy, as humans, we enjoy consuming video more than we do consuming text. It's just the way things have been going. So if you can embrace that in sales, it enables you to be able to get the results.
So there's basically a whole way of doing stuff that's more effective that we have at our fingertips, but a lot of people do seem resistant to it. I mean, have you found that? I found this. People don't want to do it. Why is that?
Yeah. I don't know, really. I mean, it's interesting because I think we're quite happy to jump. You get a salesperson and they get an email in their inbox and it says, can you jump on a call in 5 minutes and explain to me how your product will solve my problem? They'll do it. They will. They'll jump on with no problem, with not any time to do any research. They'll jump on straight cold and they'll have a face-to-face conversation with somebody. I think the idea of video, and I suppose there's two sides to it. There's the one-to-one prospecting video, you creating a video to send to an individual, your pitch, perhaps your elevator pitch. And then there's the kind of creative stuff, putting that out on LinkedIn. And I understand more the reluctance to maybe put yourself out on LinkedIn. Because it's, you're going to show it to thousands of people potentially. And there's that kind of fear of judgment or failure or things not being received, all that kind of stuff. I don't fully understand the one-to-one, the reluctance to do that. I think it's possibly people think they muddle their words, particularly they've got a way of working. They like to write, they know the kind of text stuff they like to write. Could be time sometimes for that kind of thing. People think it takes longer. So I think there is that kind of reluctance there. But I think from a one to many, I understand people just maybe they feel like they're some sort of influencer or something, and they're not. They don't want to kind of sort of put themselves in a box there of being some sort of influencer posting videos about stuff. But for me, it's always been something that I think I've been comfortable doing, and so I was happy just to put stuff out there. And don't get me wrong, like the early stuff I put out was awful, and some of the stuff I put out now is awful. It continues to be awful. But sometimes
they get the best hits. Everyone likes those ones, yeah.
yeah. And again, it's me at the end of the day. I'll put, it's me being myself, and it's opened up some amazing conversations, and I've met loads of interesting people along the way. So it's I'm a huge advocate for it for anyone.
It's funny when I'm feeling a bit naughty. I sometimes ask, people are saying to me, "Oh, people buy from people. It's all about relationships. It's the human side. Blah blah blah." Do you send people videos then? No. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So really, you're missing a massive chance to do this, and it could be knowing how to. But if we could put that one-to-one stuff to the side for a minute, because you said you use it all the way through the process, I'm really interested in exploring that a little bit. The big stuff, the influencer stuff, which isn't influencer really, but the things you're putting out on LinkedIn, because you do a lot of that, and it's unique, shall we say? The way you do
yeah
is that keeping you on the call if I say unique?
yeah I mean, so I guess for context, I've made various different types of videos, and all with the aim of creating awareness. We think about, I've been asked this question about what was my strategy, and I think I didn't plan it. I didn't go into right, I'm going to do this over the next 18 months. My goal is going to be this. My goal is always, and it's always exactly the same with every video. I've got a message that I want to say. It's always business related. It's not me just, doing TikTok dances or whatever. It's like always has a purpose. Like you can go to TikTok for my dances. I'm joking, but
we'll put a link in.
What's the message? And is there like an amusing, creative way that I can do it? So I do it for either might be personal branding, might be sharing something that I'm going to be a part of, whether it be me going, doing a podcast, or whether it be from a personal branding perspective, putting it out there, sharing the message. Maybe I'm sharing a product update or a feature that I know people would benefit from. So it's lead generation. So I sell HubSpot, which is a really vast, complicated platform, and it helps people to understand how it might impact their business. It opens up conversations, makes people more aware of the platform. But it's always just like, what's the message? And then is there a clever way I can kind of do it? So I've done stuff where I've cut myself into famous clips from movies, having conversations with people. I've used some editing tools to have a conversation with myself. I did a video once where I had a FaceTime conversation with my own brain, like just silly stuff. And yeah, I'm a creative soul, so I feel lucky that these ideas sometimes do come to me. But I feel like lots of people have those ideas, but maybe there's that reluctance to put it in place and put it out there. But yeah, I put some unique stuff out there. brightens people's day. It's nice just to get a message say, thanks for this. I know people enjoy them. Equally, it's also opened up loads of meeting opportunities, lead generation stuff, personal branding. So now it's just a foundational part of my weekly output, really.
So let's just again underline this. It has opened up meeting opportunities. Would you say you've got meetings that you don't think you'd have got if you hadn't been doing this?
100%. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I because HubSpot is vast. How familiar you are with HubSpot? It's a CRM marketing automation tool, does kind of everything, full digital transformation, the whole lot. There's so much that you can do with it, and the community is huge. There's loads of various partners selling it. There's loads of people using it. I have my own sales cadence for people within my own ICP that I know that I can sell into. But I'll never be able to. The trick is you want to find somebody who needs help at that point. That's the real challenge in sales, right? You want to find, you've got a problem that you can solve. You need to find someone and hope that person has also got that problem and they agree, and then hopefully you can have a conversation. But sharing that kind of knowledge and putting that stuff out there on LinkedIn, people are aware of me as being a HubSpot expert. So I get tagged in stuff where people say, oh, someone sticks a post out on LinkedIn saying, I'm looking for an expert in, and in my case, it's HubSpot or marketing automation, but whoever's listening, whatever your particular, area of expertise is, and how many posts are going out there saying, I need an expert in this or an expert in this. If you become that expert and you're known as that expert by you just being out there and you spring to mind, you get tagged in stuff all the time and just says, oh, Chris will help you with that. And we'll have a conversation, and maybe they're not a fit and I put them onto somebody else. But a lot of the times they are. And I wouldn't have found that person otherwise, because they're not perhaps my specific ICP or the specific thing that I'm looking for in my sales cadence. So it just creates opportunity.
Brilliant. And so, I mean, you've said this a couple of times, it's about a big part of it is personal branding, which seems to have so many different definitions. I'd like the Chris Van Praag definition of personal branding. And what are you doing when you're trying to do that?
Yeah, I didn't really know it was personal branding. Someone told me that was what it was. Someone told. Well, so we have, in my role, we have one of our KPIs is actually be actively trying to increase your personal brand, because there's lots of very good reasons for it. Increases value of the company, increases your worth, your status, it generates leads. There's all good reasons why it should be something that people are focused on. For me, it's about, we can't, I mean, it's getting there now, obviously, but we haven't had, there's a long time we haven't been able to meet people. We would never have met were it not for LinkedIn. Loads of connections I've got in America and all over the place that I may never meet. But for me, a personal brand is a way of you being able to tell the world, or at least tell LinkedIn, what your expertise is and who you are as a person. So it might be, you might want to double down on your expertise. So I'm not, and I'll never pretend to be a thought leader. There's some amazing people out there that put these amazing text posts out there, loads of content, or amazing video posts. That's not me. What I am is I'm a nice person who knows the thing that I sell and can help people with that specific problem. I'm enthusiastic, I'm creative, I've got ideas, and I can help people to solve problems around video, lead generation, marketing automation. You can't, I've had people come to me and say, oh, help with my personal brand. And it's like, okay, well, what's your thing? Like, well, I don't know. You need to think about that sort of thing. And I didn't know that. What my personal branding to me is being truthful and honest, and putting yourself out there, just like you would if you were at a networking conference, and you've got a stand and your role is to open up conversations with people. They're probably out there, they'd say, hey, they're opening, pulling people aside. They're doing that. If you're enthusiastic about your product, find a way of being able to do that on, the biggest professional network there is in the world.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. To go back again, you didn't know what it was. That's quite cool. But so when you found out, someone said, well, it's increased the value of your company. Nice. Increases leads. And you said it increases your worth. What did you mean by that? Let's just make sure we understood it.
Your value to your organization.
Mm-hmm.
So what you are, you're more than a cost to your business. Ideally, I mean, it depends on the size of your organization, but what value are you bringing into the company? And I guess for me as well, like, I'm very feedback based. Like, I like to know when I'm doing a good job. Working in sales, it can be lots and lots of losses, lots and lots of negative, like rejection, non-replies, that's rejection, right? You can be doing loads and loads of work for very, very small amounts of wins. It might just be, yeah, we're willing to go ahead, or you could be a BDR booking meetings. You book that meeting, then you're on to the next one, to the next one. So I think as an ability from I don't know, for me, it's a mental health thing. Like, actually, it's like, it's nice to get that, that kind of reward, the comments, people saying, oh, this, you're doing really, really good stuff, or I recommended you to my friend, or that was that really brightened my day. So I think actually, personally, it's just been a way of me kind of keeping myself motivated, especially over what was going on in 2020, being able to kind of put yourself out there and stay motivated, and having a community of people when we couldn't actually spend time with people was huge.
Yeah, it was a horrible time, wasn't it? But you made it work for you. So I think it's really important. Again, I'm sort of underlining things. I'm literally underlining them as you're speaking. I'm writing, and I am underlining the important bits, which is, yeah, you have a message, but there's a purpose behind it. You're doing this for a reason. It's not random. Hey, look how great I am, but nothing other than being great. There's something that you're doing it, and then it's a amusing, clever way. Now, I can hear people say, yeah, but that's all very well, but it takes too much time. So can you talk us through your process, or how much time it does take? Maybe that's right. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to do. So too much time is completely relative to your, and I get that. I know that, I've spoken to people who, they need to create 70 to 100 touches a day. You might be about all outbound calling, cold calling. So it really does depend. For me, I don't know how successful a video is going to be. So it's really hard to be able to kind of quantify ROI, because I cannot put a video out on LinkedIn and go, well, I know it's going to generate me 5 meetings, so it was worth me spending however long it might take. Some of my videos will take me, 10 minutes. We might get onto TikTok. I know it's a bit of a polarizing thing, but the one thing it's very good at is you can create very quick video content, whether it just be talking, and very, very quick content that you can then put over and post on LinkedIn. So some stuff is quite quick. Other stuff I might edit together and things, and it could take me a few hours. It is really hard to quantify. So it's not for me to say, oh, you need to do it. You need to spend half a day a week doing it, because I think only each individual will know what it's worth. But for me, I'll normally put out at least one kind of polished, let's say edited video a week. Probably takes me a couple of hours. I do actually do some of it I enjoy it. It's like, again, it's a fun thing for me. So it is a bit of a hobby. And so I might just be sat in front of the telly and I'll be pottering around with it. So it's kind of, it's not on work time. But I think if people want to start putting out more stuff, they don't want to do that. You can only quantify it your own way, really. I say I can't.
No, I guess what I look at is kind of, well, a video that exists is going to be more successful than a video that doesn't. I mean, that's kind of one way of looking at it. I know that's a bit too basic. But I think if you're looking at it, well, I did a video and nobody called me up to buy a load of sales training or to book a demo or to do whatever, you are looking at it the wrong way. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
It's the accumulator. I mean, it could be that video didn't really work, but actually loads of people saw it, and that plus another, plus something else, and then something else they saw, and it just tips the balance. So this stuff is always working for you, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it is. And that's a really good point, because I used to quantify the success of my videos by meetings booked. And then I thought, well, also reactions or reshares or comments. And that's all great. And all of that kind of shows, the success or the popularity of a post. But I still now am, some posts will, I'll get maybe a few hundred. Some posts will get a few thousand, and a few of them have had, tens of thousands. I will still meet people that I've not met before, and I might not even be connected on LinkedIn, that will go, "Oh, we love your videos." I'm like, "What? What? You never reacted to it. You never sent me a connection request. You never. So how? Like, what? What do you mean?" But they have, and again, it's hard to quantify that, but that happens all the time. It's bizarre. I genuinely think I hear it more than I can almost see it in the results. It's really hard to explain. But yeah, constant feedback from people saying, "Oh, this," and I know what that's done and what conversations that opened for us as a business. But yeah, it's really hard to quantify. It is really hard to quantify.
And you know, I suppose we've got to say it, and everyone will say, "Well, everyone always says that, and it's a bit trite." But you know, I literally had this the other week where I put a video out. I got 11 views. You only said you got 10,000. That's okay. I had 11. Not 1,000, 11 people. But one of those, somebody messaged me, and we have now started a dialogue. So, you know, even of those 11, one of them was the right person. And if I hadn't put it there, it would have never worked. And it's still
100%.
there, and I'll use it somewhere else as well. It's actually designed for somewhere else. I was just doing the old repurpose thing.
Yeah, great.
Which it sounds like you might be doing, because you dropped the TikTok bomb on us, so we better have a chat about that. Go on then, tell us about TikTok.
Yeah, I mean, so yeah, I'm the same as everybody in that I first thought it was an app for kids. I then had a little play around with it, and as most people do, you download it as a bit of a joke, and then 3 hours later you're like, "What's happened to my evening? I've just been watching." There is some absolutely incredible professional TikTok creators out there. When I just say professional, I don't mean people with editing. I mean people who are using TikTok to generate leads. And I'm not one of them. But I know you've had a conversation with Will. He puts out some really Will Aitken, that is. He puts out some really amazing content. There's tons. I could name a bunch. It's a great tool for being able just to create video content. If you haven't got any editing skills and you just want to be able to edit something together, short clips, whether it be you demoing something that your platform can do, or a recent sales meeting that went well, or a sales meeting that went poorly. There is an audience out there for whatever content you want to put out there. As I said, it was originally adopted by people doing dances. There's still a lot of that sort of stuff out there, but it's a video creation tool, makes it really quick and easy. And at the moment, the people who are posting the stuff that they create on TikTok and migrating it over to LinkedIn, there's a whole audience, because people on LinkedIn don't see it. Most people on LinkedIn are like, "Oh, TikTok, that's for kids who are doing silly dances." So actually, I think there is an opportunity for people who want to start making quick content to jump on it, because I think more and more people will start to migrate over to it. I think it takes a lot of hard work if you want to use it for lead generation. You've got to be putting out a lot of content out there and find that audience, and that can be a lot of hard work. But if you just want to find a way of being able to, edit together some videos of you talking about what it is you do well, or whatever it might be, whether it be sales fails or sales wins or your own thought leadership, whatever it might be, it's a really great tool to do that quickly and easily, and then share over to LinkedIn or post on your website, whatever you want to do.
So to paraphrase, is the tip then to kind of like use TikTok to edit? You can do all sorts of stuff. I mean, leave your silly stuff in there if you want, but if there's something that's good, you go, actually, let's move that across and pop it into LinkedIn. Make it more relevant to that LinkedIn market. Keep it in TikTok, won't do any harm, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And use it as a tool. That's what I'm hearing. That's pretty much what Will said, to be honest. That's the tool. That's your editing tool.
Yeah, it is. And so you can, some of the more, I couldn't make the polished stuff that I do. I couldn't do that in TikTok. But if at the moment we're talking to people who want to do it, but don't necessarily know how to get started, they maybe don't have video editing equipment, they don't know understand how video editing works, it's a really great place to start. And yeah, effectively, you'll start building an audience on TikTok just organically by posting stuff on there. There's still a few negative people, on LinkedIn that say, "Well, what's all this, people posting stuff across?" But the stuff I post, it's always received really well. It opens up conversations, and it's fresh. To be honest, at the moment, it's still new. There's not a lot of people out there doing it.
That said, back a step, you've got a purpose and you're clear on your message before you start playing on TikTok, or even just looking down the lens of a camera and delivering whatever it is you're delivering. That purpose and that message is what you're building everything on. And that's what will make the content good, because it's good content, if that makes sense. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so, purpose message. Can we just go back over that? Just, if there's sort of a couple of ways which people can be sure that actually, yeah, I've got something to say here. What could they base that in?
Yeah, it's a good question. People want to post more on LinkedIn, and then the question is, well, what do I post? So they'll reshare the company blog, or they'll share an ebook or something. I think it has to be genuine. I think you need to be posting stuff that actually you want to, and that might not be the company blog. You might need to, or you might see some value in doing it. But I've said this a few times. I don't know how much people understand about the LinkedIn algorithm. If you reshare posts, LinkedIn won't show it. They just won't. LinkedIn doesn't want you to leave the app. So it doesn't want you to post a link to your website, because it doesn't want people to leave LinkedIn and go to your website. It doesn't want people to go and download your ebook, because it doesn't want them to leave. So if you've got something that you want to share about an ebook or a website, record a video of why it's good. Tell people why this new ebook is useful to your audience and the people that you're connected to, or the people that you want to have a meeting with, and post that on LinkedIn. Because I want to know. I'm not going to spend 5-10 minutes reading an ebook to see whether it's relevant or not. I will spend a minute watching a video of someone explain to me why it's relevant, and I might go, oh, it's not relevant to me. But I will watch that. I will watch that content, and then I can make a decision. But by sharing the company blog, you're saying to somebody, can you go and do some homework for me? Because we've got this really, really good thing. Go and check it out. It's over there, and then come back to me if it's good. For my personally, and people may disagree, but I think you need to make the effort. You need to put the thing out there, explain. And if the video is not right, then start off with a text-based one. But don't just reshare the website or the company blog.
I've shown my age here. It's like the Reader's Digest thing, isn't it? This is the stuff that's in it. Now, assuming that the blog is half decent, there'll be some half decent stuff in there. So just highlight it. Just give us a little summary of it. It's not like we've got more and more attention going on. We're getting less. So it's like, I've summarized this. And if you're that bothered, you can go and look at it.
Yeah.
But don't put the links in, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think that what is commonly happening is put the links in the comments. It's just at the moment that seems to be what the algorithm prefers. It doesn't want, understandably, it doesn't want people to leave LinkedIn. That's what the social networks do for us. So by all means, if there's something I'm sure if your company's created an amazing ebook with some amazing statistics about how the difference that your business or your platform has provided, but like you say, digest that down into the key points and tell me. It doesn't need to be an edited thing. I don't need to see graphs and pie charts popping up on the screen, and but explain why it's good, explain why it's useful, and why people should download it. It's got that pause, that kind of stickiness. People are scrolling through, they see a video, they'll stop, really quickly, first few seconds, get people in, and then maybe no more than a minute, and direct people to the thing via link, direct to the blog via the link in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of an ebook and how many of them are structured, it's usually about pain and prize, isn't it? So it's just like, let's say there's 3 pains and 3 kind of corresponding prizes, 3 solutions to them. 6 videos, isn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
One
great.
big one, or 3 reasonably big ones, or 6 littler ones. You can sort of record all these and chop them up in a clever way, and you've got loads of stuff immediately.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So you say about keeping people on the platform. I heard somebody say the other day that in the 60s, the cleverest people on the planet were trying to put the man on the moon. Now they're trying to keep you on social media platforms.
Yeah.
That's where they're employed. That's what they do. Okay, so again, you talked about the stickiness or people scrolling. Is there anything you do just to kind of catch them? Is it about thumbnails? Is it about having a clever background? Is it about wearing a weird hat? I don't know. What would you suggest?
Yeah, I've tried a few things. So I've edited videos that have got a kind of, I guess it's that meme format, right? With the sort of text at the top and the bottom. So a traditional 4:3 video in a square format. And I put a video out explaining how to do that. It's not very difficult to do, but add some titles if you like. I think if you look into, I was listening to a marketing seminar last week, and they were talking about the difference in the way that video is now consumed, in that it used to be, and if you think about a film, like it's a kind of a slow start building to a crescendo and a big ending, and it's the whole thing is flipped on its head now. Now what we need is like an explosive start, then with some more information, and then you'll be lucky if they got to the end of the video. But if you produce a minute long video, then you need that first few seconds to be, something punchy. And I've quite often just used the first 4 lines. You've got a video that's got that pause point. You use that, LinkedIn, you get the first 4 lines at the top, and then there's the see more.
Mm-hmm.
So the algorithm likes it if people click see more. So if you've got something punchy at the start that said, like, I don't know what it could be. How did I generate 50 meetings last month? And people go, oh, hang on a second. Then there's, a video of someone talking. So, but you need to hit that punchy start, like first few seconds, you need to draw people in. And then once you've got them in, then you can go on with the rest of the content, and then, tail off with whatever it might be, a sign off thing at the end. But don't expect they'll get to the end of the video.
Right. And that, by the way, that how did I generate 50? That wasn't a question by accident, was it? Or was
no,
it?
What do you mean? No,
So
I
when
mean,
you said
that's
you're putting in the sort of the breadcrumbs of those 4 lines, you asked a question very quickly.
Yeah.
An intriguing question. Oh, how did you? I want to know that.
Yeah. You need to, and you'll see that. Anyone that goes, you'll notice that the first few lines, it's got to be something punchy that draws people in. Find out more, or whatever it might be. And you can add as much text as you want below it. But LinkedIn will always only show the first 4 lines. So you need those first 4 lines to be, quick and clear. And again, let's say you see a video, I don't know, I'd love to know the stats, but I feel like video content is probably easily less than 5% of the posts that I scroll through. So when I'm scrolling, the feed, I naturally will pause at video. But if the neuroscience is accurate, that's what most people do. We just like to consume video over text.
And the fact that somebody's face is on it, does that make a difference? Is that an important thing?
I think some of the posts that I've put out that have been me have done well. I think there is this kind of need, especially again over this kind of last year, for more kind of social, personal connection. So I've done the odd post where it has just been a sort of relatively personal one, or I might have shared a photo or whatever of me, and it's done really well. I haven't sort of planned to. I just thought I haven't posted on LinkedIn for a while. I might post. I know we're talking video, but posted a photo of me with my daughter or something, and it's done really, really well. I haven't posted stuff on weekends. And I'm like, no one goes on LinkedIn on weekends, do they? But it's done really, really well. So I think the personal stuff is good, especially, and talking to the salespeople here. But everyone knows that, like, the feeling of salespeople are they're considered like we're bottom of the pile, right? We're like the worst of the worst. We're just there's us, and then there's like traffic wardens maybe slightly above us. And we know that's not true. We know that the vast majority of us are here to help people solve problems. Yes, sure, we sell stuff, but hopefully we sell good stuff that we're passionate about, that will make a difference. So the best thing that you can do to overcome that is to warm people up with who you are and what you're about and why you're a genuine human person. They can't do that if you're just sending an email saying, "Hi, my name's Chris. I sell this. It's really good. I think you kind of fit my kind of ideal customer. We help a few other people. So do you want to have a conversation about it?" It just doesn't work. People need to know, ideally, if you can warm them up with who you are and what you're about, and they'll go, "Actually, you seem like a genuine guy," thing, and makes the connection.
Ask them how they are in these unprecedented times. That surely works. Don't. Please, I'm going to share. I hope nobody cuts that out. Oh, look at what this sales trainer said. Okay, so
I mean, it'd be interesting if that people are still doing that in 2021.
Yeah, ready for 2022.
yeah, God.
Oh no, perish the thought. But okay, let's say worst comes to worst. If people have got their head around video, there are ways that we can create this human connection, and that's, I think, what you're saying. And to make this shift now, so let's come off the sort of the bigger platform stuff, and you talked about using it in the sales process, and you just talked about using it in an email. Sounds like you're using video all the way through.
Yeah, we use video, and we use it beyond the sales process. We use it with our clients as well. So it's become it's become the best way for us to be able to, for me to be able to communicate with generating leads and prospecting and reaching out to inbound leads. Then I use it sort of through, it's become very, very difficult, understandably, to get all the kind of key decision makers you might want on a demo. We sell quite complex platforms, so often there's a lot of decision makers. Actually makes more sense for me to make micro demos answering specific questions for people. And then we might get everyone together as a kind of just to sort of share everything and maybe answer any kind of final questions. I've used video for explaining proposals, kind of explaining why certain bits, you can't just send people a file now and expect, they're going to want to understand like what are they buying, why are they buying, all the kind of key line items. We've done thank you videos when people choose to become a client, and then ongoing, we get asked a lot about, people want to unlock, parts of what they're doing, or they've got questions about stuff. Easiest way is most of our client delivery team, they'll just jump on, record a quick video saying, hey, I know you asked me about how that specific thing works. Here's how I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And then they've got a little demo video that they can, they can watch it. They might send it over, the client might send it over to a few people in the office. They're seeing your face, you're explaining it. It's as good as you being there, really. And they've got it. They have to keep going back and trying, I don't understand what when you say, click the bit in the top left, let's say you're doing it with text. Let's say you can't describe it as well. There's a little button in the top corner. It looks a bit like a fan, but it's, whatever. Video, there it is. See it. It's nice, quick and easy. Send it over. So we use it throughout. We use it constantly.
So a lot of the micro demos or the question response videos, they're ready to go. They're locked and loaded because the question is probably the same question that many people are going to be asking. Yeah, that's right?
Ideal. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Like, ideally, we will always try. You want to try and keep them. Don't say names and things if you can, and find a way of demoing it. Because like you say, then you can just repurpose it. Yeah, I've got a video on that. Here it is. There's always cases where it's a specific use case for their instance. But yeah, perfect example. If you can record an evergreen video that explains a specific thing. I think for me in the sales process, the micro demos don't tend to be evergreen because I lean in quite heavily on their specific pain points.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to, if I've done perhaps a discovery session where I know the real kind of challenges, I want to dig into that and speak to them, because if that video gets shared around and perhaps the CEO sees it and they understand this is why it's that. If you can produce an evergreen video that does that, great. But I would just pause on that and not rely too heavily on it, because ultimately we use that kind of asynchronous video to replace that, that group demo. But the purpose of that group demo is not just for you to show what your product does, it's about answering their specific problems. So I think there's a risk that if you use just too much evergreen stuff and someone goes, oh, I'm just trying to, if someone says, I don't know, they say, how do I create a list? Any good salesperson will go, well, why do you need to create lists? They say, oh, well, I need to create lists because we've got 20,000 contacts in our database. Okay, well, and you want to dig into the pain, and then you find out, oh, it's because they're taking 3 hours a day to pull their prospects list every morning, when actually, so if you know that, you want to be able to dig into it. So I think it's just important to kind of just pause on that and just make sure you are digging into their pain point. But if you've got an evergreen video that will do that, then great.
Yeah. I mean, what it sounds like is that it's the sort of stuff that beforehand you'd have jumped in a car or got on a plane or done something to go and see people, and they weren't all there, but then you've done it again the next month because the 3 that weren't are now. And it's this kind of thing. You're saying, actually, I can do this from the comfort of my own home, comfort of my own office. I can put something there. The same person can watch time and time again. They can send it to those 6. Actually, they realize that there's another 6 that none of us really realize were part of it, because the DMU is growing anyway. Mm-hmm. And it goes out to that. So in some ways, recording it about them, for them, every single time, it's a time saver anyway, as well as being better.
Yeah. And I think that's the only, I think there's an instinct, perhaps, if people feel like, oh, I've done that, I've done it. I've recorded that, that minute elevator pitch of the platform. Then I can just send that out now. I've got a video and I can send it out to all of my, but they'll smell it, they'll sniff it out. If it's just a video going, hi, here's a demo of our platform and why it's great for your business, they'll go, okay, see you later. But if it's like, hi, Fred, I noticed that you did this, you've been on our website. I know a little bit about your industry, and I know some of the pain points that you're experiencing is this, this, and this. I'm just going to take a quick 30 seconds to explain this specific part of our product and how it's going to make a difference for you. Okay, I'm speaking to a human that actually is trying to resolve an actual problem that, yes, I am facing.
You've looked at me, you've understood my problem, you know my name, the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Yeah.
Sure.
And so you're getting all this. I mean, there's a lot of psychology behind this, isn't there? A lot of psychology, which is playing to our strengths if we do it well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's very easy to think if people are using video, or we're using video. Okay, well, and it might just be that they're in a darkened room. They're perhaps they've not got their camera on and they're just doing a screen share. And wondering why that's not, communicating. Video is a way of you presenting yourself and what it is you're trying to do to help that person and the research you've done. You can explain a lot more in a lot shorter space of time. And as a consumer, I think it's like something that we consume 60,000, we consume video content 60,000 times quicker than text. So in terms of you can explain more and people can understand more in a shorter space of time with video. So there's loads of psychology around it. There's loads of really, really useful, but it's not enough to just go, oh, well, I've got it and I've recorded a thing, so I'll send them that, and then it's done. You do need to commit. Yeah.
You presenting yourself, explaining things because you've understood it. So you're saving time for your customer, and your customer is going to consume 6,000 times quicker. This is personal. This is personal selling still. And I think some people just push back at that. No, it's not real. Brain doesn't know the difference. Is another piece I've heard. If I see you, you're there. I'll have to chat with Chris today. Great.
Yeah.
Cool. No, I've really enjoyed talking to you, Chris. So you mentioned that video that explains how to do the main thing. So if we could get a link to that, would be really cool. Yeah. Send me that. And what is your favorite video that you've created? What's your favorite child?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've just, I don't know. It's hard to say. Like you say, they've all had various benefits. To be honest, probably the one that's opened up the most doors for me is not one that I made that took a particularly long amount of time, but I made a prospecting video once for a company, and I, just to jazz it up a bit, I threw in a few just random pictures. So I was saying words throughout my pitch. It was about a minute and a half long, I think, which is probably too long. But I threw in loads of like just funny pictures. But I actually ended up submitting it as a video for a video and business awards thing that Vidyard were putting on, and it blew up and it opened up loads of conversations for people. And I know loads of people who went off and did it. So even though it's probably not like the most fun edited one that I've made in terms of like the impact I know that it's had on other people, it would be that one.
Is that available publicly? Can we drop a link to that? Is that
it's available. It's available publicly for sure. Yeah,
we'll pop a link to that. So just for my mind, so you were talking, but you were just dropping a random picture of a word you might have mentioned.
Yeah, it's hard to, but effectively it kept them engaged. I was doing quite a relatively serious pitch about research that I'd done, just like you would any. But I took a bit of extra time. They were a real, and they were really wanted. I knew that we were going to be able to help. I really wanted that conversation, so I spoke a little bit longer, threw some things in there, and it became quite the conversation starter. They reached out to me literally, and this isn't me just saying that, they literally reached out to me within an hour, and said, "Okay, let's have a conversation." So it made a huge difference. So it was fun. It was good. I'll say I've put out lots of funny ones out there that I've enjoyed, but I think in terms of knowing the impact it had on others, that was definitely one.
Cool. We will drop a link to that. And so, yeah, how do people get in touch? This is why we want for rewind. I need to film podcasts on TikTok. How about that? How do people get in touch with you, Chris?
Yeah, well, drop me I'm always open to connecting with people. So drop me a connection request on LinkedIn. I tend to post 2 or 3 times a week. I tend to, hopefully post some useful content on there. So connect with me on there. By all means, feel free to check out my TikTok, which is VP of Sales at VP of Sales. But certainly LinkedIn's the best place to start a conversation and things. And yeah, happy to help in any way I can. I
am heading straight over to TikTok. No, that's really kind of you to spend some time, Chris, and explain some of this. There's some, some bits that basically after I've done TikTok and wasted 3 hours on that, I'm now going to go back onto LinkedIn and tidy up some bits and pieces because of what you said.
Sure. Been a pleasure.
Cheers, Chris.
Thanks, man.